Tom is going to be here. Maybe he'll be late. We can talk about a day. We can talk about a day for the other connects.
Lynn, is this Fireflies you?
No, I am not Firefly.
Okay, Lynn, we are at 2:00 and start.
I don't either. I think I threw it away. Delete. I started.
that's cool.
Let's
go ahead and start.
Okay.
Welcome to the June 2nd, Monday, 2:00 Emergency Preparedness Committee meeting for Yachats. Pretty much have the majority of our active committee members here. Great. Don't have any announcements. Does anybody have any questions or problems with the previous agenda? We have no fire department report. I have not talked to the fire department this last month at all. Finance report, budget is in progress. We have on the budget for next year, it's been dwindled to $5,000. How we will handle the Connex, we're going to look into because we have a grant for $2,500. We think we have a grant anyway with the county. So we might see how we balance that with anything else we want to do. And I'll talk with the city manager how she wants to approach the commons as a shelter. I believe we're going to have some dollars for a little bit of equipment. I mean, we are going to rely on Red Cross at this point. They have a trailer and it's full of a lot of equipment and can handle an emergency unless there's also an emergency happening or the same emergency is occurring in Walport. Then Walport is first priority.
Okay, Don's online now.
Great.
Do you have copies of me?
Give me head one.
What's that?
Agenda?
It's on.
Oh, I just walk right back.
So we'll look into the how we're going to approach the emergency shelter thing. The wildfire tabletop and Red Cross visit, I thought went really pretty well.
It was interesting.
We didn't have a lot of attendance at either of the events in the Commons. I went around for a couple of hours with Rosa, the facilities manager of the Commons, and 5 people from Red Cross. We spent time at the Presbyterian Church and the Baptist Church and here at the Commons, identifying how each facility might be able to be utilized. They took each one individually. I should say that 3 of the individuals are from Eugene. They are more or less the kind of headquarters for our area. They cover 6 or 7 counties. The other 2 individuals, one's from Walport, one is from Depot Bay. They are our prime contacts, and they will respond if I call. And they are going to be very helpful. Yes.
For you, Lynn, and you say when you call them.
Yes.
And in the event that we need to call them, do we have the numbers that other people can call?
Bobby
if they're
will.
Not available.
Bobby knows that it has all that information. for me to call them as if we need some help in putting things together. And I think that is something that we need to look at. Because one of the things that came out of the trip was that they would propose, and Bobby is certainly in favor of having a simulation, an emergency simulation in the fall, where we actually do all of it and physically act out most of it. I think and that would include city hall people, personnel, public works, fire department, anybody that's necessary for it. And they will be teaching as we do the simulation. That's kind of the concept. I will get with Bobby. She had some ideas about how we need to approach that in advance. And I think we need to get Rick Booth from Walport here and talk about key personnel at an emergency, because we should have somebody already identified as the person or and a backpack for the individual that would do registration. For the people that are going to do setup, we need to have some of that predetermined, because if we just say, here's an emergency simulation, nobody's showing up unless they have a reason to.
So I have another question about the simulation, and as those forms start coming in on my email,
Yes.
I mean, we're starting to
Those are-
get more and more
that's
people
great.
signing up for the volunteers.
Yeah.
We should definitely include them in the invite to come, so if they're gonna volunteer to,
I think so. Red Cross
what do you think?
has a very definite way of how you utilize volunteers. And how you do specific things like registration. We have to keep privacy ultimately under control. People's names are not used. They do get they get a wristband, but it'll have a number, not a name on it. Everybody will be associated differently that way, and not, so there's no personal information going out.
And I get that, but I guess my question to elaborate on it is that I remember one of those forms filled out that they could do registration.
Exactly.
You know, moving people around. So
And I
would we
think-
not want to teach that person that?
I think we still we need to have somebody in those positions. Because I think there's going to be an opportunity, not an opportunity, but an event that may not require us to bring Red Cross in. It may be a small enough,
A small.
and we need to know how to deal with stuff.
And so then you learn one, teach one
Exactly.
concept.
If Red Cross is involved, they have an iPad, I believe it is. I can't remember, but it's set up to do registration, and it puts all the information, and it keeps it for them. And then they know how.
150 like we used to do.
Yeah. And I suspect they need to be communicating with City Hall and dealing with all that too. There's an awful lot that we need to find out.
Okay,
And I think getting Rick to talk through those kinds of things specifically would be really good. Maybe I'll see if I can get him for July meeting.
Absolutely, because I mean, then the fall is
Couple months away.
ouch.
Yes.
days are gonna start getting shorter.
Don't say that.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
there's a couple of boxes over there of Red Cross registration materials. But
Okay.
they are probably so outdated because it's all paper. I mean, and now it's all done
Find out.
online.
Yeah.
So,
They had a table set up. And it had some information on it, and I didn't, because I knew we had a lot of it, I didn't pay much attention.
yeah,
Do you still have that list, Mary? Yeah, okay, good.
I mean, we might be able to just, get rid of some of that stuff.
I think we can.
Whatever.
Could you send me that list?
Sure.
When I'll go over and meet with Lorraine
I
after
mean, the
this.
list,
Yeah.
the list is in kind of,
I
it's in
remember,
my own sort of,
I-
it's like
Yeah.
box one.
right,
kind
I
of-
remember that. Probably have
Just
to.
didn't you, what do you say?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll find it and we'll.
okay.
We're talking about when you were trying to get volunteers at the meeting or something.
No, I went through and,
Yeah.
Oh, the
cabinets
cabinets, yeah.
and just,
Inventory.
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's in one of my other spiral things. I remember where it is now. I'll get it to you.
one of the things that they were discussing was the campus atmosphere. And looking at each facility and what they saw each facility best at dealing with. They thought the church, the Presbyterian church was best for sleeping, setting up the cots. Their large room would hold 47 people,
Oh, good,
which is a good number.
yeah.
Commons would then be a backup if we have more people, because we can do maximum 30.
Mhm.
20 is more comfortable. And then we also have their kitchen as a potential catering kitchen. We cannot prepare food. We can have snacks, we can do coffee, tea, those kinds of things, and have the snack kinds of things around, but food needs to be catered from the restaurants, and they get paid.
Did Red Cross confirm that? I mean, cause I was
Yes.
thinking,
It
okay,
came from him.
okay.
Yeah, they said, no, we don't buy food.
Emergency.
Yeah, we don't buy food, we get it catered. So that's one task I would like somebody to take on, to go around to the restaurants and ask them if they would be willing to be on the list to be contacted to be a caterer for a breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Should this happen?
Yes, exactly.
Sure.
We would try to give them as much notice as possible and give them a head count.
Mhm.
I mean, that's all we can really do.
Right.
But it would be a requirement for them to basically cater to it. Simplicity too, I think, is important. You
Right.
don't need fancy meals. We need basic kinds of
Right.
things for an emergency.
They'll be under the same constraints as the rest of town,
Yeah,
no power or whatever.
depending on what
That's
the emergency is. That's right.
Sandwiches.
And,
Sandwiches and whatever, yeah.
yeah, maybe I'll go by, and I'll also go by CK. I'll do that. I'll go by CK Market too, because, be able to
Purchasing
get,
of snacks.
yeah,
Yes,
And they have
You
a
do that.
generator.
drinks and stuff and.
that would be on our list, and we would need to set up a credit line with them.
Yeah,
I think, so that somebody specifically could go in and purchase and bring a bunch of stuff in.
right.
But if somebody would like to take on the restaurants,
I'll do it.
okay,
You know, Cider House doesn't prepare food here, you don't need to go there.
I don't even know where that is.
Oh, yes, they do.
They bring it over from Eugene, they don't cook in it, they just heat it up.
Oh,
Wild card?
really?
I think, when did you,
Just a couple weeks ago when they hosted that dinner for the chamber,
oh,
they couldn't cook for the chamber because they can't cook in there, they had to have it all catered in.
oh, that's weird, because I thought they were, they make sandwiches, I know that.
Yeah.
And they make the.
I think they have a
meats.
limited license for
Mhm.
Oh,
prep through
I get it. I get it.
through the county
Mhm.
area restaurants.
Don't
Great.
make a good sandwich.
And I think on the restaurants, all we need is a contact and a phone number so that City Hall can make the contacts as we need them.
Will, I mean, at some point, when we kind of get this lined out a little bit, will we, we'll have like some kind of, yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah, okay,
Okay.
I'll get that.
Just
Yeah,
kind
I'll
of,
just
yes,
tell them we're
See
putting
the-
it together now and
if they would be willing to be on that
Right.
list, which
be on.
hopefully it doesn't
be on the
happen,
list.
but they looked at, and certainly the church, Presbyterian church has has a shower and a washer and dryer. So it obviously means there has to be shifts and people scheduled, so that'll be part of the scenario as well. But we can offer those things, at least. They also have some other rooms that can be used for a one-on-one consultations, crisis kinds of things, as we need. The Baptist church, they did not see as a place for sleeping, but they thought their downstairs room would be an excellent dining room. And it just happened to be set up as a dining space at the time and would hold quite a few people on tables. So I think that would be a great involvement. They are wanting to be involved. It was the first encounter with the new pastor and James, who used to be part of this committee. So their pastors or James is bringing the pastor into this a little bit. He's on the borderline as to whether or not he really wants to be involved, but I think the Red Cross people talked to him pretty well and convinced him it was a good thing to help. Then the Commons, certainly best place for registration is this room they saw, and that door is the entry. Part of the requirements for a shelter is one entry, everything else locked. That's how we can utilize some volunteers, unfortunately, is just be at the other doors to keep people from coming in. The room down the hall to the west, they thought would be a good holding room because we're going to get more than one person at a time, obviously. And because of the privacy issue, you don't want a lot of people sitting around the person taking information. So we'll violate fire code and utilize chairs in the hall anyway, because it's an emergency.
But is there an issue with letting people in that aren't registered as of yet? I mean, is that a security issue?
No,
Okay.
no. But you want to keep other people out that are not, it would be wristband after they get in and registered, then they're the only people that should be able to come and go. So we would need to somehow identify workers
Okay.
too. But it is to be a controlled area. I think that's just their way of controlling so things don't get lost or stolen and other people coming in. It's just a security thing. It's just, but that's questions we can come up with for Rick, I'm sure. But they like the commons. They like the kitchen. They thought if anything needs to be prepared, that can be, or that's a primary catering kitchen. Somebody could do some reheat and whatever out of that kitchen. Mostly because it has gas and nobody else does. They were pretty thorough in their talking through each space. And then we talked also about people up the river. Rosa lives up the river. And so she was a real promoter of that. And everybody kind of agreed, and we need to figure out how to approach this, that people up the river need to have their own place to go, a place for storage of materials. Fire station would be ideal that's up there. And I have not approached Frankie, but I did talk to the, I don't remember his name. He was at the meeting. He's lives up there and he's the person that handles that fire station. Chris, is that right? I don't remember. Anyway, he would be the one to, I think, work with, get Frankie's permission. But utilize that kind of as a base. Maybe they can store some things there. The question is, where is the city's responsibility other than helping them organize? I don't know.
Do they need to evacuate, is what you're asking?
If they have to be evacuated, can they, say something happens between here and there, they can't get here
Mhm.
and they're isolated up there
Then,
somehow.
yeah. But I think, yeah, then, I mean, that's the reason to have stuff stored up there.
That's exactly right.
and be talking to them. But if they can be safely evacuated, then the
That's
better
different.
thing would be for them to come here.
Absolutely. And there was a lot of discussion about evacuating from even from here, going the long way to Walport. If there's not a problem with Walport at the time, depends. I mean, we don't know what the event is.
Right,
So-
yeah.
Turned it off, did I?
Probably a lot of trees down.
Sorry?
So might be a lot of trees down those back.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And those decisions are made by incident commanders and stuff like that.
That's-
Yeah, we're just,
We aren't gonna do that.
no,
That's right.
yeah, we just do whatever they say.
Yeah, I think that's what the simulation is really gonna help is us being taught some positions, the end. And that's it.
They ever use drones to scout, like scout ahead, see how the roads are? And it seems like that might be a good.
Sure.
use of it.
Sure. See,
Depends how
David
far they-
Rabinis, chair of the library commission, was very interested in all that discussion, and he said he was gonna go try and drive it and see what happens.
Takes a while.
He was curious. Yeah, apparently it's a 40-mile-an-hour, 40-mile drive.
Yeah.
But which way, going to Waldport, like up the Beaver Creek? No, the Beaver Creek comes all the way around. Oh, yeah, so if you're coming back from Newport, which way will you?
From here up and around to Walport, and I
You
don't.
keep going, part of it, I've done a lot of those. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
go upriver, then like up Reedy Creek or something. And then it comes down Blodgett Road, but also you keep going, then it comes out Ekman Lake. That area.
So there's other places that you can
And it's
connect back.
really windy all the way.
Yeah.
You can go on up to 58 and go to Florence if you have.
Yeah, yeah, you can go south. There's some ways to do that.
And that, which they mentioned, it would be good to have a map that actually identifies those routes.
Totally.
Talk to the Forest Service. Are they making maps these days?
No, good question.
I mean, paper map.
Yeah, I mean, even one that you could mark up,
Right.
to have,
It's
No,
out, it's available.
so people
My
can.
husband has all those maps, but we could copy.
Sure. That'd be great, I think.
He has a map with it. I'll ask him, okay?
It's down there.
That's which one?
Yeah, we're gonna stop over.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking about maps.
Fine.
Keep it up.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
The Red Cross in their trailer has 50 cots. They have blankets, they have, what I did not hear was whether they have the tarps. They require the floor to either be carpeted. Actually, they even recommended if it's carpeted, they put tarps down first. People spill stuff.
Yeah.
And they said their goal is to always leave a facility as good or better than when they arrived. They will do all kinds of cleaning, or we will do all kinds of cleaning to meet their requirements at the end of one. I need to find out about the tarps. I know they have the cots and a lot of other supplies, and we should find out really what this trailer entails, I think.
Well, could Rick go over a list of stuff that it is, what
I
he
think
thinks?
it could, yeah. I will get in touch with him for sure. And the other gentleman, his name is just out of Depot Bay, and the two of them are very active. In fact, they're frequently gone to events around the country.
I have a question about the upriver thing. People up. Yeah, it would be nice if maybe they figure out like where they can store stuff. Maps, I think, is a really good idea. And maybe I know Rosa lives up there. Maybe if somebody who lives up there wants to come to one of our meetings or something, I don't know.
I was thinking Rosa might be a
A good
prime person
Uh-huh.
to find somebody upriver besides herself that could be a real link
I have
to up there.
I have two friends who live up
Okay.
there, so
I think we should.
Oh, there's Steve
Talk to
Hamilton.
her a little
He's got a lot, Steve Hamilton's got a lot of history in, with the fire department and everything,
But
but
I just mean like
he's getting along.
getting like a group up there, so they can get organized themselves.
That's the key. I think.
Yeah,
Get a group
so,
organized.
Elizabeth, who with Billow Cloud, who is at, Markham, who's at our facility over there, and then also, there's a woman named Janet who works at Fred Meyer's, who I've become friends with, and they live right next door to each other. So anyway, they're in and out a lot, and I don't know, I'm sure if I talked, well, I'm not sure, but Elizabeth and her might wanna, I don't know, be involved. So, yeah, I think it would be good for them to have a group up there
How
to,
about if I got Rosa to talk to you to
Uh-huh.
get some names and then
Okay.
she can make some contacts of some people, and I'm sure she's got names. Well, I know she does. She has a business up there too, so.
Mindy Parsons lives up there now.
yeah, I mean, I just think if they had, just like we're doing a group, maybe 5 people and like we're doing like,
Talk about it.
yeah, talk about it.
Everybody
I-
knows what's going on.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people out there have, when trees come down, they have chainsaws and they go help each other,
Yeah.
cut the trees, get them out of the way.
I have a friend up there who's very resourceful. I'll see if he has any interest.
Yeah.
I suspect they will be better off than we will. If they were isolated, to be quite honest. Yes,
If there's a fire, they may not be.
you're right, you're right.
But if there's a tsunami, they may be.
Yes,
Yeah, we
yes.
may be going up there.
Riding the wave up the river.
Yeah.
It's gonna go pretty far.
It may not come here, may go to Seattle. They're talking about,
That's right.
they're thinking it's
preparing
gonna
more
be
and more
up there.
people.
Anyway,
As I said, we obviously have limited supply or limited funds this year. Yes, sir.
Interject real quick, yeah.
You bet.
Okay, so on the 5,000, we have that on our operations budget for
Okay.
emergency preparedness, but on
Okay.
the capital budget side, though, we still have 11,000 for the Connex
oh,
and 10,000.
Thank you.
10,000 for Commons as emergency shelter, so.
It's-
Hero today.
oh, Neil.
Neil, with the information. It's in
Mm-hmm.
there.
You said the 11,000 is for the,
The Connex replacement and supplies.
and supplies and the commons?
Commons is 10,000.
Ah,
Commons emergency
it
shelter.
only got reduced. It's still there. That's
Yeah,
good.
and just spread it out, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 for the
We'll
next.
take the reduction. That's good.
Great, what are we gonna be able to do?
When I created that number for the commons, I just came up with as much in terms of equipment I could think of. I mean, I bought cots, I bought blankets, I bought hats and gloves and, a bunch of stuff. So now we can be realistic about, from Red Cross information, what we should really have here.
Did you really buy all that stuff or were you pretending?
I pretended to
Oh,
buy
okay.
them.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, I'm like, whoa.
oh, we don't really need all this stuff for you, Red Cross.
I did like we did when we ordered for the
Yeah.
the backpacks. I just went through and on Amazon and picked items and
Oh, I see, you made a shopping cart.
did shopping, and I've got the links on the list too, so. But prices do change. Thank you,
Tariffs.
for that information.
Still have a hat. We don't have it.
Yeah, we were thinking about doing a cap drive. Sock cap and having a thing over at the visitor center where people could
Drop off their
drop off their caps. And I talked to my friend over there at the thrift shop and she said, yeah, when they have extra
I think
ones.
it'd be a great idea still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do have to buy hats.
Yeah, okay, so we'll just do the hat drive.
Diane at the city hall said she'd make a poster for you if you want and put it in the
Okay,
stuff.
oh, perfect,
Okay.
okay.
So we just
I'm
need to find a
collecting
place to
my own.
store it
I have way too
somewhere in
many.
City Hall or here.
Hats.
Hats, yeah, the sock caps, the warm hats,
Right, watch caps.
watch caps.
Watch caps.
So anybody who's going, I got too many.
We should make a hat.
I don't know.
No, pass.
It's,
Reject. Okay, so Kathy's in charge of that, right?
I talked to Diane about the poster. I'll talk to my upriver friends,
So
get organized.
what else on that? Establishing, I got one email. One of the your newsletter article brought in a response for radio,
Right, for satellite communication.
satellite communication radio.
This came out yesterday, right?
Yeah, that was great.
Yes.
We have a response, so I think that's great. We have one.
There's a lot of responses on the other one too. I mean, they're filtered
Just,
in.
they
Yeah.
are general
Yeah.
volunteers.
And put that in a couple months in it, you know, for a couple months, because people might skip a month reading it or something.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
we should repeat that.
is if you're not signed up for the electronic one, which some people aren't, this is what I've been hearing in the community. They don't get electronically, and then they don't really get it in the mail, because they are on like, they don't have a bill come in for something.
Going,
And so if they don't stop somewhere and pick up the newsletter, they're not reading the newsletter.
I'm on auto pay.
And you don't get one then.
No,
Uh-huh.
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I get 3 of them. Yeah, business, my home, and yeah, I don't, well, the water bill goes to the rental, but
Yeah, I hear that, like Judith at the kitchen shop, I don't get that newsletter, and somebody else who stops in at the chamber, because we usually have a stack of them there. Well, I don't get this. I said, well, it's online, well, I'm not signed up for it, so either they're not being truthful or.
well, maybe
But I-
Bobby should do another.
Why aren't they
thing
signing up
on
for it?
Facebook.
Some people don't use the internet to do that kind of stuff. It's like they
Maybe
don't
you
get
can
the
just put in
coupons
a
at Fred Meyer
program where
either.
they can send them out like
They don't use
quarterly.
internet.
No, I mean, do a mailing. Or maybe, twice a year. Just do a mailing
Sure.
and, I mean, that's $400, but. At least it's going to their mailbox or their home. That way it just comes. I mean,
With a little note saying, this is how you sign up to get this online. Or,
you could do whatever you want, but as long as there's something that they're getting the information you guys want them to have.
Yeah.
Maybe if we did that, and then Becca, and when the new people come in, she sends them a welcome packet. So anything you want them to have, then you
Just
can
let-
give it to her and she'll just start putting them in the packets.
Okay,
Also, I notice a lot of people at the post office, they read all the minutes and stuff. Maybe we could put one up in there with the pages. I mean, there's quite a few pages, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The highlights, maybe people just aren't reading the side thing, but
There's a lot to read there.
a lot of people also ask for that, that little newsletter that they put out, that somebody writes a little blurb on, and then they have the puzzles in that you get at the C&K Market.
Oh,
The
we're
little
around
square.
town.
around town.
Around town. I mean, tons of people come in for that.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Can we use that? I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's
Probably
a
have to
cost.
pay, yeah.
I was gonna say, you might have to pay him. Yeah, even his ads are more than you would think they are.
Yeah,
so, this is off subject, but it just occurred to me, so the welcome packet, for when people come,
new people.
the new people come, so what, is there anything in there about emergency preparedness?
Yeah, there's already the sheet that says for Lincoln County emergency, this is how you get to it. And then we also put in the card, the yes or no card goes in there.
Okay, good.
So any other information or brochures,
We're signing up for Lincoln County alerts.
that's what it is.
That's what it is, okay, all right, good.
Yeah. So if it's anything local we've got going on,
Yeah.
she just needs to have it and she can either make copies of it or. If we have brochures from the events we just had would be good. And I think that's what Lorraine's gonna do. I think that's why she wanted to talk to you, Lynn, about
Sure.
the information available, and then we can put it in the bills, we could put it in. That when I used to do the utilities back when we were here, every month that I sent the bills out, there was something in there, whether it was for street safety, bike safety, beach,
Yeah.
this, that, and the other. But the county supplied all that for me. I just ordered what I wanted. So we always had something go out and, you know, over time, they just got away from it. And didn't want to do it, but I mean, you know, it doesn't cost anything to throw a brochure in there. The envelopes are still gonna cost the same. It's not like we're putting a big pack of information.
Right. Yeah,
What-
another page.
I noticed somebody is, because sometimes people ask this constantly online on social media, somebody's making a point to put the calendar in the post office last thing, so, you know, so people can see. I saw it there today.
I just noticed that.
Yeah, all the classes are, instead of somebody asking, I don't get one,
I
right?
just might not be there because I may not have space.
Oh, did you do it?
No, I did not. Somebody took it upon themselves to go in the city's thing.
Uh-huh.
So that's where all the postings go.
I don't think it was.
And the fire department
Posts these things.
But it was on the first one. The
Yeah.
second side, we don't own that one. It's
Oh,
not ours.
okay, that's where I was thinking the other
Yeah.
newsletter could go. Okay.
Yeah. But I did not take it down because I didn't need the space.
We could repeat that one in maybe 3 or 4 months, the same thing.
Yeah.
With the link.
Absolutely.
Signing up again, but
And we did ask the gentleman from the fire department that is typically up there. He does have communications with this fire department, and they have a link. So at least there can be some communications, at least we can go to the fire department here to find out what's going on up there, so. But the communications we get, nice. The gentleman that's kind of in charge of the communications hasn't been here for a while. He doesn't live here permanently, so. And he's not on the committee. He took James's place, basically, but he's the commo guy that we want to give us some more information. And he promised he'd come to a meeting once he came back to town, or call me if I could sit down and talk to him. I'll get as much info as I can. I want to update the radios to some extent. We need to make sure we are up to date enough so that whoever's in the Connex, at the Connex, could communicate with all the Connexes, which I know that's the intent, and supposedly that's what can happen. Can they also connect to the fire department, and could they connect to Public Works? If Public Works we don't know what the event is, so. Or people that have Public Works, and I believe the one at the fire station, those radios will also connect to Walport. Beyond that, I'm not sure. I know we've got some people that are ham radio capable. I think there's at least 2 here in town. Get there besides James. I don't know the other gentleman's name.
I can envision what he looks like, but I can't pull his name.
The guy
Yeah.
who comes once in a while
Yeah.
and sits over here. Yeah.
They would be great to make sure we have their contact information at the city for an emergency as well, because they're going to be prime for communication. We're going to need to try to communicate with people someplace.
We may have texting ability. We had that in the ice storm. You know,
Yeah, when an event happens, we don't know what we're going to have. We may have all kinds of.
we may be walking
Waves.
to people and talking.
That's right.
Your mouth.
I hate to do this, I'll need to leave early for
Let's
I have a vet appointment up in Newport. But
talk about our connect.
if we could jump to a meeting up that, sorry, I missed the
Yes.
email.
No.
But yeah, I look forward to doing that again.
So I'm good either afternoon, Thursday or Friday.
What I'm trying to catch up. What we're talking about.
This is the first aid at the Connex. There were 4 of us that went through the 4 first aid.
Organizing the stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
And when's the next one?
that's what we're about to set up.
Pretty open most of the time.
Just Friday is my only day I have any time at all this week.
No, that's the only day I'm going crabbing.
How's next week?
Oh.
A little better.
But
Here we go.
Busy Monday, but the rest of the days I'm pretty good.
What time are you talking about meeting?
First,
We don't have
we're
yet.
looking for a day
Okay,
first.
so now you're looking at next week or wait,
The 8th through the 14th.
yeah, I'm,
9th, yes, at 8th, yeah,
the 8th is a Sunday, I
right,
work.
so it's, so 9th through 14th.
And
I'm free Tuesday to Friday.
Okay,
I'm available Monday or Tuesday, and after that, I'm away for a few days.
Mary or Catherine, are you available?
Yeah, either.
I'm not available that week.
You are?
I'm not.
Oh, you're not
I'll be
next
gone,
week,
yeah. But
okay,
but you could do it without me if you had to.
Four of us knocked it out pretty easily.
we did it pretty quickly, actually. And we've done it once now.
It's teamwork, work well.
Yeah,
So Tuesday,
works for me.
10th?
Mhm.
Tuesday 10.
What time?
No, not for
No.
me.
Okay,
What day can you do?
Monday,
I can do Monday.
actually I could do Wednesday.
Wednesday,
CC,
I
what's
can't.
city council? Steve, no, I can do
I can
Wednesday,
do Monday afternoon.
Monday and Wednesday.
I can do Monday afternoon.
So you got all 4 people doing monthly.
Monday, 1:30?
Yep.
Yeah, I can, okay.
Monday 1:30 is good.
We want rides up, I can. take you
Where,
up
where
from
is this
here,
one? Which one is this one?
Meet here and we're going to Crestview.
I don't know.
Lynn's got a nice new car you can ride in.
So wait, is Crestview south of the bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can drive up there. I mean, I don't know.
So, meet here to ride
And I'll take
and
you up.
then, okay, and so meet here at 1:30 or meet here before 1:30?
Here at 1:30,
Okay, all
Fine.
right, and we'll try to carpool.
sure.
Okay,
Yep. we can do that
where
too.
work closed, right?
We didn't get very
How far
good.
up Crestview is that?
It got pretty warm up there on the other.
Water tank?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, by the,
Right next to the water
that
tank.
should be easy to find. Okay,
It's a smaller tank, but
Yeah.
bright green or dark green.
Yeah.
Crestview is only a block or two long. Yeah,
Yeah, he's farther up than that.
yeah.
He wanders up the hill.
But if you keep going up Crestview and
Yes.
you'll see it.
You will see it for sure. It's another nice steep drive.
Yeah, 1:30, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
I gotta roll. Let me know if there's anything else. you need.
okay, we'll decide on other stuff. out there. Okay.
To graduation.
So I think then on what we did do, and I created the list of what was in the boxes, and I have typed that up, but I'm not gonna put it on the box that we're finished. Because if we get, well, we should be able to order supplies. What I totaled up, well, that didn't come to very much, but we don't know if we need them for the other one yet too. So I think we should wait and see.
The other thing is, said he also was able to get some from the hospital.
That's right.
So
We can talk
let's
about
let him
those
commit to what's on the list when you tally it, and then we can figure out.
from there before. I mean, we have to wait until July, August to order anyway, so. Thursday, no, this week.
But I thought making them into those little boxes, do you have enough little boxes for Crestview?
I will stop by the fire station and pick up some more boxes. Yes.
It's just gonna be so much easier for us to
Yes.
pick up the box and go to the people,
Absolutely.
bring people to the box.
And I explained that to the Red Cross and they thought that was an excellent approach because a lot of people are not gonna get to the Connex. People are gonna have to go to
Yeah,
the other people. Yeah. On Wednesday afternoon, I will be up at the Radar Connex with Alex, Cox, a commissioner, and totally, Julie and her partner Sue, who live on up above, and we're going to reorganize, get stuff out of boxes, clean up the inside a little bit more. What I'm not sure about is if the water purification containers are back in yet. Hopefully not. We'll have some room to work.
It's just that big one that goes in there though, right?
There's two big ones.
Oh, there are? There's one for each side? That's great.
Yeah, it's two boxes to make those components.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
Were they gonna?
if so, we'll take them out.
The little.
We're gonna look at the little ones next.
Was that
Actually,
ordered?
that's out of ours. That's part of us for,
We know when that order goes in.
oh, okay.
Because
Because you'd like to tag on to that, okay. I have not looked that up yet. Look up.
one for myself. Farm. Oh.
I've heard a couple of comments from some different residents that haven't really taken a lot of the emergency preparedness that serious, that they attended a couple of the things and now are buying freeze-dried food and they're buying stuff and they are actually doing something about preparing. So I think that's great. I mean, just introducing a few more people each time.
Well, just knowing for yourself, because we had an incident this week on the tractor, my husband, and his injury was, and I have all that medical stuff, but I didn't have the right bandages for the injury that
That
he
happened.
sustained on the tractor, and it was like,
I do too with the longer days, people, I know myself anyway, you have time, you have the energy because you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this and that, and that, you know. It helps
to get.
get things done, yeah.
So I stocked up with even more stuff.
We know where to go. Catherine's. Mhm.
Very reasonable, Michael.
Mhm.
Medical supplies. Where's one? Else.
Oh, okay.
So I think the next steps for us is finding out what the positions are that we can fill for Red Cross when there's an event. They may only have one person here. And that would be Rick from Walport. Then he will be basically overall in charge and direct the people to do whatever that needs to be done.
So are you asking that we volunteer for positions now, or we wait to
I
get
think-
lines out?
I'd like to find out what those positions really are, I think,
Okay.
and get him to kind of really identify how many people, how many volunteers do we need, really? He at one point, well, the FEMA book says you need between 12 and 20. He was doing one when I was talking with him on the phone one day. He was in North or South Carolina and he had 40 beds with people, and it was he and one other person running the whole thing. So
Well,
Yeah.
once you get embedded,
that's exactly right. We're going to need a bunch of people at the beginning, and then I'm sure
Right.
it cuts down. Being spread out, we're going to need people at each location, at least a couple, I would think.
unless you do triage for, well, you would at the end, but if you brought everybody this way and you had a person who was doing triage,
Sure.
and then, of course, you would keep the people that needed the most care close by with most people that you have to help. People who are pretty self-sufficient, you could put them over with one or two people. Right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Separating people.
What I mean, according to their acuity, you would staff, wouldn't you, Mary?
Well, you're thinking about it a little bit differently than I think it's normally thought of, the shelter is normally thought of as, well, people who just need a place to spend the night, not as, sort of a mini hospital
But
kind
what
of.
happens
Yeah.
if it ends up being that way? People who come down and they have.
I
They have
think
injury.
that that's a sort of a different situation. Yeah,
That's a question to ask Rick
Yeah.
in terms
What
of
you
setting
do,
up an area.
Yeah, okay.
but,
But you're
yeah,
right, okay.
Yeah.
That's just where my brain goes.
yeah, no, I understand it. That's where your brain goes, it's for. That's where it goes.
Emergency. Right. Triage, acuity.
Yeah,
So yeah, what we would need, and
What-
then we could,
what do we really need in terms of people and then supplies or equipment too at the time? I think we should get minimal amount at least to be able to handle an event, a small event. Anyway, assuming without Red Cross. Rick said we can call on him. It doesn't have to be a Red Cross event. He would come down anyway, not represent Red Cross, but just be
help
here
us
to
get
help.
Started, it's.
Absolutely. Yeah.
what about a bigger one of those boxes like we're putting together for the Connex, or a couple of those small ones that we house here? Maybe we put some, so that we would have them here just in case. As a start.
First aid supplies you're thinking of?
Yeah, those things.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think,
I mean, we have them in the comments. It seems like we should have something.
does City Hall or the Commons have any first aid supplies?
EED, they have.
Yeah,
First aid.
we definitely have the boxes,
Yeah,
you know, they're not for, an event, let me put
Right.
it that way.
Right.
But for minor things, for, staff getting stung by bees or having to flush their eyes out or stop bleeding, stuff like that,
So it wouldn't hurt if we put together a box to have
for City Hall.
for City Hall or Commons, whichever
Yeah,
wants to be.
yeah,
Well,
But-
if we are able to purge some of that stuff, as Mary suggested.
Oh, yeah, there's
that
plenty
may
of room back in
Be
there.
out of date,
Sure,
we
sure.
shred and put a box in there of supplies instead of info.
Did you send me that? Or you're gonna still have to look for
The
it?
list,
Yeah,
it's at home.
okay,
I have it in a different thing.
all right. I'll go over and see Lorraine. I think I remember most of the type of stuff that we've got
Yeah,
in there.
It's, there's
We have the first aid.
there's a couple of
packets.
boxes of Red Cross registration material and sort of signage for registration and maybe a pamphlet that tells you how to do registration and that kind of thing. Again, that's pretty old stuff. There's a bunch of info, tear-off sheets,
Oh, that's right, the packets.
yeah, what to do,
What to do, yeah.
in a tsunami, and, just one tear-off sheet, what to
Yeah.
do with a shooter, I mean, it's like all these different emergency.
Coloring
things.
books, I remember there being.
Yeah, there's coloring books for kiddos, fire safety, that kind of stuff.
We do have the green, red help okay signs for windows too.
Mhm.
Do you know if Becca is tapping into these supplies too, to use them up maybe, if she's sending those things out, in welcome packages?
No.
she's only using what I've
Of what you already
used in the
have?
past.
I wonder if don't need all that stuff, if some of it could supplement you all.
Yeah,
If we don't need what?
If we're not gonna use a lot of this,
Yeah.
cause we're not sending out packets,
Mm-hmm.
if you could use it,
Yeah.
Becca could use it
Yeah.
so that, it's just saving paper.
Yeah.
she given an evac map out.
Yes, that is in there. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
So Lynn, did you need,
Shoot.
Kayla Thompson from the State Emergency Management
Did
at the
not.
thing. Okay, so I met her, I worked at a teen certification, a situation in Newport in the middle of May, and she came down for that. And so I met her and spoke with her about some things, some cert things, but I also asked her if she could be helpful to this body.
Huh?
She's part of the State Emergency Management Office and is relatively new in it, maybe a year and a half. But I just was on a meeting today and the guy was like, he'd known state emergency management people back, 10 years. He said she's the best one they've ever had. She's really great, very approachable, really knowledgeable, a real problem solver. And she said that, for instance, Bobby or the city could call her about policies, for instance, if that would be helpful,
Okay.
she'd be happy to talk with you about whatever kind of thing you were looking at that you needed help with. I don't know. I think she's a real strong resource and
Okay. She's with
it's
state.
the state, yeah,
Right,
Oregon
okay.
Office of Emergency Management.
Yeah. Right.
And her name's Kayla Thompson, and
Seems to
I probably
me-
have a phone number.
I think I've gotten an email recently and that has to
She's the
do
one
with
that put together those emergency preparedness for older adults
okay.
videos
I
and
did
things.
that.
And so her phone number's at the bottom of those,
Okay.
of that thing.
I think she's doing something tomorrow also on the wildfire briefing.
No, what, wow.
I had signed up for one and I'll have to find my email to log in, but there were two. I don't see her offhand, but I vaguely remember her name, but she's
Just
with
wanted to
OEM.
put that forward.
Good idea. Yes.
And again, I think accessing the state
State and
resources.
county.
Yeah.
We are not doing that.
Yeah,
enough,
I
think.
mean,
Yeah.
county is one thing and that's good and state's another. I mean, and it's not like if you get one, you get access to the other. You sort of have to do them separately, apparently.
Oh, absolutely.
But didn't, like Florence this week just got this unbelievable generator and like $25,000 for
Really?
emergency stuff, yeah. So,
Somebody just gave it to him?
well, I guess they were from the state or.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's stuff available, like you said,
Yeah.
if you start connecting with these people and getting involved, they're gonna say, hey, you wanna try for this, or hey, you wanna do that?
Yeah.
And things will come to you easier than us trying to search them out on, like those little glass
Amazon.
mushrooms
Mhm.
on the trails.
Oh.
Yeah, because if we could boost a generator for something else, I mean, that's the other positive about the commons is that we can hook up to
generator.
power.
Yeah.
The other two facilities cannot.
But if somebody's gonna give us a big old generator, that would be great, but
Absolutely.
Someone else, yeah.
Good point. And obviously, we need to involve CERT too. We need to make sure they're in conjunction. Walport did not show up to any of our stuff. Rick was a little disappointed, but he knows that they had some other issues going on.
Yeah, they got their fire thing settled. They got their bond issued for the fire. That was one of the things I was talking to her about. I thought we'd lose, it would be lost, and then we would lose our sponsorship, our CERT sponsorship by the fire department. So I said, what can we do? I mean, what sorts of things are available if that happens? And but that didn't happen, so hopefully things are settled down there. Nobody's really talking right now. I think everybody's just trying to Not twenty words.
I'm exhausted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He just sent me Kayla's information.
If you're talking about policies, can I sidetrack this a bit? I wanna know that, you know, what we were looking at to take to city council, that we had to change in the policy.
The code,
The code,
addition to the code.
did we get that
Oh,
resolved or we
not
still
yet.
working on that?
We need to sit down a little
Okay.
bit, because I went through the Newport thing and I went through our policy and I found pieces of that in ours in different places. So we kind of should decide how much more we should add. I don't think we need to add that whole document by any means. I think it's just a couple paragraphs.
Wouldn't want it to have to be sitting on your plate if we need to do something.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Lost my track. Stay, I will pick up. Do we want to do anything more with the Connex at the fire department? Right now, it's basically set up to take care of the overleaf from Fireside and motel people coming up to grab a pack and go on. Fire department will sort of house them, they'll at least could feed them. And if tents can be set up, they would allow that to occur in that area. But we have no other supplies really there. It was really focused on, we have some radios, but it was focused on the motels because they've paid for that.
Did they pay for the Connex or does the city own the Connex?
Well, city owns all of that, but they gave us the money to purchase 5,000 to that whole package. So whether they physically own he's not going to care. Drew doesn't care about ownership.
What,
I'm
is there a way that it would be
The one
useful?
behind the fire.
Is there a way that it would be useful to us? I mean, is it fine just to leave it the way it is, or do we want to do something with it? I mean, I'm not sure. I feel like we can leave that a little bit
As
and
is,
just
okay.
concentrate on these other
These two,
two.
okay.
We get the other two hunky dory, I guess we could go over and look at it. I don't know.
You know what, I really feel like that this is just kind of weird, like the fire station, which the whole city has paid to have. You know,
Active and all
yeah. And then the overleaf and, you know, they've got all their stuff up there for their guests to go up there. Well, I feel like what are the city people being left out of this picture?
No,
Okay, so city people
No.
can go up there,
but
there
there's nothing
isn't-
there.
there's nothing there,
The
okay.
packs,
that. Why would you go to that?
I know, but.
that was the intent. They approached the
Yeah,
city
Yeah. And the city agreed.
to go to help with us
Mhm.
create another Connex.
Why?
And they
Oh,
put
okay.
money in.
Okay,
So it's really their Connex.
yes,
Well,
But
they put money in for supplies.
So
And it cost far more than what they put in.
it's to keep all
Oh.
of those people, it's to keep all the Overleaf and Fireside guests from coming to the Radar Road Connex.
That's part of it. That
I
is
didn't
correct.
get that.
yeah,
Yes.
so I would say I agree with Mary that, you know, when we get our ducks in a row here, we know exactly what we're doing with our Connexes, and maybe we could revisit talking about theirs.
Yeah,
But also from when Frankie was here at the previous meeting and everything that she went through with what they're doing and what they're providing. I got the feeling they've got it under control and there's nothing that we really need to do right here.
Okay.
Is the
Okay.
message I got from her. Now,
Which
correct
is-
me if you think
Her message is totally changed from previous messages.
That's exactly right.
just
That
last
was
month.
very interesting to me also.
She didn't want anybody coming to the fire department area.
But that's what I mean. She has it under
Now
control.
she's changing
Because-
it.
Oh, But she's gonna have all those people
And
coming
that's
from
okay.
the hotels.
Yes, and they're setting up a soup kitchen, basic idea now. They are
Well, that's
buying
fine.
equipment
That's
and doing all of that to help. Well, they're not limiting it to only the motels. They're trying to create their own area and just help
Okay,
the city.
I get it.
So it's north
I
side.
still might go if there's a soup
It's
kitchen.
a second place on the north side, basically.
Let's just concentrate on what.
Yeah.
And work on getting this
No, I
place set up so that we're
understand.
prepared for all of these people in city limits.
And I think the next Connex really is with the next water tank, with the new water tank then too. When that happens, not getting rid of what we have, but adding to it. Because we'll still have that land where the current water tank is.
Gold Connex, right, when we get the new one? Or does that one become another Connex somewhere else? The one we're replacing?
When we replace it, it'll go away.
Oh, okay.
And I
entirely.
thought the
But
water
add a
tank,
third water
sorry.
tank. When the new water tank goes in,
Does
add
that-
another Connex there, so then we have 3 on the north side and 1 on south, which Don's gone, but we'll find another place on the south.
I thought that the water tank that was up there, because there was danger that it would.
It looks like it's dangerous.
That if they have a new one over here that they're talking about, that one, they wouldn't be using that one anymore or something.
Water tank,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
We're talking
okay.
about the Connex.
okay.
There's also a very small, very old
Uh-huh.
Water tank
Radar.
that started there on radar.
Yeah,
Then the next one is up above, that little one's gonna stay.
uh-huh.
So there will always be water in that area.
Uh-huh.
The system all has to connect, so they
Uh-huh.
aren't gonna totally do away
Yeah,
with everything.
okay, I got it, sort of,
Okay.
right.
Okay. Good. So I think our priority at this point is to get Rick here. So if he could not come, and I have no idea, to the next month, could we, prior to the next month, set up a time, like the week before the normal meeting, just have a meeting?
Just with him, yeah, whatever his,
The Red Cross person?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he's.
Just an informal conversation.
So the next meeting wouldn't be till July 7th, right?
Yes. Because the 4th is in there. Well, it's not the 4th that messes it up. It's the 1st
Yeah, it's on
on
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So maybe the week of the 23rd, are people around?
Mm-hmm.
Of July or no?
June.
Oh, June.
For impromptu meeting, yes.
I have a 3 p.m. thing on the 23rd. So do you?
Oh, we have book club.
Yep.
Sorry, I outed you.
Could be anything. It was 3 p.m. maybe.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will,
Like noon-ish or something.
I'll just see if he's available
Just
anytime
see
that
what he's
week.
available.
He's available.
Yeah, there you go.
That week.
Present us
Work
with
around,
those
yeah,
dates,
we'll
yeah.
work
Yeah,
around.
and then I'll just, actually, I wonder if that would be better
Maybe
than, I don't know, I mean,
if you get one date and then try to fit it
Then we'll
all,
see.
then it's easier than us all saying we can do it and he said
Yeah.
he can't.
Yeah.
I think-
Yeah, I think it's better if I know when he's available. He might even give you 2 dates or whatever.
Yeah, I can come on this day or that day.
he'll come up. He may bring the other gentleman, and I can't think of his name,
You will know when he gets here.
and I know it. We'll
I have
talk
one
with
more
him.
question for other business.
Okay, go.
What? Can I not write the newsletter for 6 months?
You want a break?
No other business.
I think I've done my term.
Your newslettered out
Okay.
for the time being?
I mean,
Okay, I've done 2. How many?
Now
Get
get back to me.
him to do one. Yeah, where'd he go?
Okay,
Yeah, Tom,
What?
Tom,
Tom, sorry.
give me a topic for him.
Then the
I've got
Connex,
it.
well, maybe, so we're going to the Connex, maybe he could talk about that. You know, what we're doing or something that he wants.
He's the doctor, he can think of something.
Yeah, he can think of something except
First aid in the
antibiotics,
woods.
no antibiotic.
You talk about antibiotics, if it was.
Or he could even talk about the importance of the GPS system that he had, you know, when he was in the woods, that he could communicate with his wife and, you know, carry on the conversation of people needing the people to volunteer.
Yeah, kind of
There's a lot
search,
of things.
search and rescue stuff
Yeah.
Okay.
is the kind of thing he's interested in, you know, backcountry,
Mhm.
preparedness, whatever.
The article needs to be not real long.
Long term care.
Tom,
Well read.
Just
so
Get a lot of information. What does it say?
half page,
That's very cute.
half page is okay? All right,
Subscription from my son.
That's
And
very
him.
We're gonna
do that.
Where? It's the club.
Oh.
You sign me up for it. I get to see the book that I want.
Okay, back to business.
I don't know where it's from, I just.
It's from the ether.
Yeah.
Anything else? We'll get Tom to write an article.
Yeah.
And that's horrible, volunteering somebody who's
No,
not at
it's
the
not.
meeting,
It's-
but you
That's what always
understand.
happens.
Time honored tradition.
Yeah, we've all done
Maybe
more
he could
than
be
one.
the new chairman. Should we go that far?
What?
He could be the new chair. We can
Oh
go that
my
way.
God, that is way you're going too far.
Yeah, no, I'm not willing to give that.
And I shouldn't even worry about it.
It's all Lynn's fault.
Sure. Everything is, so.
That's what my husband said.
Well, if there is nothing else, then thank you all.
Thank you.
And we will get some information out. We'll get something from Red Cross.
Okay. Bye, Don.
You were awful quiet, Don.
We should have got an article.
Yeah, do you want to write an article?
Don, wanna write an article?
I don't know if you
I don't-
heard.
He's
You might be on mute. I saw mute. No.
staying on mute too.
All right, see you.